Hello, this is Dave. In the third lesson of the Heidelberg Catechism, we talked about the origin of our sin. Today we'll discuss some additional questions that naturally arise when we discuss our sinful condition. Question 9 asks, but doesn't God do us an injustice by requiring in His law what we are unable to do? The answer is no. God created human beings with the ability to keep the law. They, however, provoked by the devil, in willful disobedience, robbed themselves and all of their descendants of these gifts. In question number 8, we discussed how in our sinful condition, we do not even have the ability to do any good. So if we are unable to do any good, is it reasonable for God to hold us to the standard of perfection? God is just in requiring perfection from us because the standard was put in place before the fall, when humans were capable of living a perfect life. As a result of the fall, humans became incapable of living a perfect life. By that time, the standard was in place, and it never changed. As a result of this state of sinfulness, the logical question is, question number 10, does God permit such disobedience and rebellion to go unpunished? The answer is, certainly not. God is terribly angry with the sin we are born with, as well as the sins we personally commit. As a just judge, God will punish them both, now and in eternity, having declared, "Cursed is everyone who does not observe and obey all the things written in the book of the law." Notice here that it talks about the sin we are born with, as well as the sins we personally commit. This goes back to the concept of original sin, us being cursed because of the sins of our parents. In Exodus 34, verse 7, it says that God is maintaining love to thousands and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children and their children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generations. And for the sins we personally commit, Galatians 3, verse 10 quotes Deuteronomy 27, verse 26, when it says, "For all who rely on the works of the law are under a curse. As it is written, cursed is everyone who does not continue to do everything written in the book of the law." Question number 11 brings up what people like to say when they want to minimize the seriousness of sin. Question 11 asks, but isn't God also merciful? The answer is, God is certainly merciful, but also just. God's justice demands that sin, committed against His supreme majesty, be punished with the supreme penalty, eternal punishment of body and soul. People so often want to see God as either just and not merciful, or better yet, as merciful but not just. However, God tells us that He is both merciful and just. The next section focuses on God's mercy. In this section, we need to realize that God is also just and therefore cannot leave sin unpunished. Hebrews 10 gives us a good perspective on God's judgment when it says, "For we know Him who said, 'It is mine to avenge. I will repay,' and again, the Lord will judge His people." It is a dreadful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. The message in this part of the Catechism is very sobering. It is very necessary. We cannot appreciate what salvation is all about unless we understand the seriousness of our sinful condition. The next section tells us how we can have hope in spite of our sinful condition. That's today's video. Join me for my next video as we begin the section of the Catechism which talks about deliverance.